Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. We got some breaking news this afternoon as Cedric Baxter, I should say night. Cedric Baxter Jr. commits to Texas. Texas is completely dominating the 2023 recruiting trail. Steve Sarkisian, it all really started with Arch Manning. You get the Arch Manning commit, and people just want to go play with the best quarterback that's really ever come through the high school ranks. And Texas is absolutely filling up the talent pool. Now, is Texas back? I'm not saying they're back. They still need to win games on the football field, and I think a lot of Texas fans agree with that. They've had talent before. They haven't really gotten it done on the football field, but this is a different level of talent. And at the end of the day, college football is about acquiring massive amount of talent, and that is what Texas is absolutely doing, especially with the last two classes. You look back at 2022, 2023, they're just dominating the portal, or not the portal, the recruiting trail. Guys, before we get into it, again, I just wanted to say thank you guys for all the support you guys have shown the channel. Again, it's been a blast talking football with you guys in the comment section, covering recruiting, talking about betting on college football games. From the bottom of our hearts, we really do appreciate all the support. If you do like the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Again, we absolutely appreciate the support. Let's talk a little bit about Cedric Baxter Jr., the player, and then we'll go into what this means for the program, what the 2023 class is looking like. Cedric Baxter Jr., 6'1", 215 pounds as a rising senior. I don't even know if he's 17 years old right now, but you look at him and he looks ready to be on a football field at the collegiate level. In a lot of ways that Bijan Robinson looked coming out of high school, just a built guy. He doesn't even need to. He will put on some weight in the weight room, no doubt about it. But he doesn't need to. He is a bruiser running back who really has some downhill straight line speed too, and surprisingly shifty. So I took a look at his measurables, 6'1", 215 pounds. He runs a 4.5 40 lasered. So he's got some wheels, and I kind of expected him to just be a straight line back, get downhill really quick, hit whoever's in front of you, and then if you see some open field, you take it to the house. He's actually surprisingly shifty, and he's a bona fide top 50 player nationally, and it makes a lot of sense. You combine the size, the straight line speed, and the agility in the short area quicks that this kid has, he's going to be really special. Now, Bijan Robinson, I don't want to compare him too much to Bijan Robinson because Bijan is a different breed and one of the best running backs that I've seen come out of the high school ranks. Cedric Baxter can do it all, really, besides catch the ball. I didn't see a ton of pass catching, but at the high school level, you don't see that much in general, especially when you have a guy like how good Cedric Baxter Jr. is. Just going to turn the ball around and hand it off to him and just let him cook. Really, really good contact balance as well. As a pure runner, a really dominant force. And I really expect him to take more strides as he gets enrolled at Texas. And again, running behind a really, really good offensive line too. That's one of the things that I'm most impressed with Texas is they're getting the flash talent. Jonte Cook, Arch Manning, here we go with Cedric Baxter Jr. But they're also building the trenches at a very high level. And that's been something that Texas hasn't done a great job of. And you look at the Texas team coming into 2022, I don't have very many question marks about that team. One of them on the offense side of the ball is how well they're going to be able to protect the quarterback. Those questions in the future are mitigated. Now, how well those true freshmen can come in 2022, some question marks. I think they can. They're certainly talented enough. But Texas is making it an issue to get that physicality, and you get one with a running back in Cedric Baxter Jr., who is going to run the ball extremely hard. Let's take a look at this 2023 class as a whole. So they have 21 hard commits. That is not including Cedric Baxter Jr., who just committed. So that's 22 commits. They are loading up the 2023 class. And you look, they kind of are filling out all the pieces you want. You have the program-changing quarterback in Arch Manning. You arguably have one with Quinn Ewers right now. But then Arch Manning, your quarterback situation is taken for 4 years. You feel good about where you are at quarterback. Nice safety in Derek Williams. Jonte Cook, who I think is going to be a very, very special player for Texas. Malik Muhammad, Ryan Niblett at wide receiver. You got your quarterback. You got your running back in Cedric Baxter Jr., and then you got guys like Jonte Cook and Ryan Niblett to round out what is going to be a very explosive offense. And guys, at the end of the day, you give Steve Sarkisian all this offensive talent. He is going to make it happen. I get it was a rough first year for Texas. they had a lot of culture changing to do, and I still think they're in the process of doing it. But as a Texas fan, you know you have the talent for the next couple of years. You think you have the right guy at the helm who is just bringing in a ton of talent. But again, when you get that culture change, that new young blood into your program, I really do think Texas is back. And it's really hard to argue that they're not, especially going into the SEC. You're going to need the talent. You're going to need the size. You're going to need the speed. And that is what Texas is doing. Again, at the end of the day, college football is about acquiring talent. The Jimmies that can beat the Joes on the other side of it. Yes, you can scheme up stuff. Yes, you can have good culture, but you got to have the athletes first. That is what Texas is doing. I want to see them. I think we all agree football is better when Texas is a powerhouse nationally. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing this Texas team become a powerhouse. They certainly are doing it on the recruiting trail. And I'm very, very excited about the future of this program. Wanted to keep it short for you guys today. Again, appreciate all the support. It really does mean a lot. If you guys are still watching, you like the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Texas is a team we're going to be talking a lot about in the next coming weeks. Appreciate you guys tuning in, and we'll talk to y'all later.